Welcome to TLC for the Soul podcast, where soul meets spirit. You have entered into sacred space. I'm your host, TAMI Chambers, and I'm here to help you shine. Now let's get going on this podcast journey.
I'm a chicken.
Hello, friends. Hello, and welcome to Bringers of the Light Sundays. If you're new here, settle in. If you've been here for a while, settle in. Got the heated vest on today. It is springish outside, I guess, after we had some intense winds yesterday, like 25 mile an hour sustained winds with 50 mile an hour, 55 mile an hour wind gusts all day long yesterday and the day before. So much so that I couldn't even get out. I was working with some folks one-on-one through video stuff, and I was telling them, like, I couldn't even get out my front door because it's a screen door some sort of whatever screen security door thing that goes outwards, and I couldn't even, the wind was coming just so much from the southeast, or the southeast. I remember all these weird directions, southeast. Anyway, so it was crazy with the wind. All sorts of stuff blew into my yard from other people that I needed to go get out. But today the winds are just very calm, but it's raining. We don't get a lot of rain here up in the good old ND. So holy crap, it's not freaking raining, it's freaking snowing. Oh my God, there's actually snowflakes coming down. This is crazy. Okay, so I'm just looking out the window. As I said, it's raining and I see snow coming down right now. What the heck is the temperature outside? What is going on in this world that I live in? This is prepare for the unexpected, of course. Of course it is. It's 37 degrees outside with a high of 46, but there's snowflakes coming down. Okay, so what the guides would like me to do today, so this is very unexpected, right? Who would think it would snow at 37 degrees? This is a time-sensitive Bringers of the Light Sunday. We're here to wind you up, like we said last week, for the total solar eclipse. And many of you already are. But these messages are going to carry you through the week. It's about holding your vision. I was already guided to contact different way showers. Some of you part of this community individually yesterday and make videos for you with special messages about what Spirit is asking of you to do at this time. This is, so I've already brought in the guides, but for the purpose of this show, because I know sometimes some of you like to hear me say, I'm wrapping us all in love light and light love, and inviting in the guides who overlight TLC for the soul, Archangel Michael, Archangel Metatron, the Pleiadians, all of my friends and guides who follow me around throughout the day and help make my life more fun, more meaningful, more manageable, are here with us all now. So stay tuned, and if you're called, you need to stay to the very end, because the people that stay to the very end get the juiciest messages, and the almost personal stuff kind of tends to plop in at the end of these shows. So if you feel like that's for you, then you need to stick around. I don't know where this show's going. There's no story today. They wanted me to allow them to take over my lips and my voice and say, and my motions and whatever, and kind of bring these messages to you. So I still can't believe the snow, and it's obviously anything that happens during a reading or a session with me, or in this case, a show, is meant for you, the people that this is going out to. So I feel like, that's a very unexpected event. I'm standing there, I'm talking about it's raining, it's 37 degrees outside, so it's not even freezing out, and snow is coming down out of the sky. So that's kind of like, Okay, so first of all, let me caveat this. I'm just going to let this flow, right? Some of it just may sound like, what the hell? Like if you're new here, you may be like, what happens on this show? So a lot of things sometimes come out in metaphors, and a lot of things that they send, that they channel through me may be taking us on like a bunny trail, and you have to kind of maybe sometimes listen once, maybe not listen once, but listen more than once to catch where we're going sometimes, because I do forget often that, they're giving me the messages and I'm like, yeah, I get it. I totally see the whole entire picture. And folks that are coming in off the streets, like you just settling in and pushing play, you may not have that whole thing yet. So the best thing to do to listen to any of my work, if you really want the full experience, is to get yourself into sacred space, set intentions that whatever messages, just like you would any other reading or any other shamanic healing, set intentions that any messages meant for you are going to find you. Listen with your master senses, because you're not watching me, right? You're listening to me. So, if it's a card reading, like I always like to look at the cards, because a lot of times I will see things in the cards that the reader that's doing the reading may not directly say. And I know that those are messages kind of meant just for me. So tell your guides to have, point you when there's metaphors or things that I may not directly point out that may be meant just for you, especially in these types of shows where they have me like tripping the light fantastic. And I don't know what I'm going to say next. Who knows what's going to come out, like, holy frig, it's snowing outside. What's going on? So but we still do it in a very grounded way. Like, I'm not going to be like flying off the rooftop or anything like, oh, I wish I could do that. But all right. So I know they have some key points they want me to make. So I want to have them direct me to at least some signposts and markers. Okay. So they want me to pull 3 cards, and these are 3 different types of key points they want me to make. So what deck am I using? Okay, I don't have a Romance Angels deck. You guys know that. So which one is it? They're calling it the Rosebud Tarot. That's not the name of it. They like that name better. It's called Final Rose, but they're calling it the Rosebud. It's the Final Rose Tarot. It does have a rosebud on the outside. So this is more of this is a pretty good all-around deck. It does like to be used for love-related messages, which I think is a lot of its intended purpose. The snow is freaking me out. All right, so let's get 3 cards from the Final Rose. For people listening, what are the 3 points, Spirit, that you want to make? That's 1 out. 2 and 3. Okay, I don't know how long the show is going to be. Let's just keep going. Yeah, there's like heavy snow coming down. This is absolutely insane. Okay, the first card out, and I will do my best to describe it to you. It's the 2 of Mirrors. It's got like a mouse, or it could be. Why does this freaking mouse have? Oh, it almost looks like it has 2 tails. That's very interesting. It's a mouse / rat. It's hard to say. It's got all these like air bubble quotes around its head. Like there's all this stuff coming out. And the title of the card is called Tattletale. So 2 of Mirrors. The suit of Mirrors is swords in this deck. And this is a very good book. I do like to read from it. Oh, and it's not the 2 of Mirrors. It's the 5. Oh, that's bizarre. Well, the 2 of Mirrors said 2 on, whoa, you can't Kundalini fire, 2 on 1. How do we proceed making tough choices when we're faced with an impasse? Options, tough choices, impasse, and needing more information. Okay, they told me this was the blind faith. This is the blind faith point they want to make. So let's go to this 5 of Mirrors. So somehow the 2 of Swords and the 5 of Swords play on each other. Oh, okay. I get it. Okay, so the 5 of Swords in this deck is titled Tattletale, and it says undermining, scheming, backfire, and conflict. it's, don't you know, tattletales always end up getting sent home, stirring up drama as a means to get ahead. Yeah, that's not what it is. Okay, so this 2-on-1 thing, how do we proceed making tough choices when we're faced with an impasse? As we become aware that we haven't quite understood the full scope of the roads before us, we must weigh the pros and cons and bring our heart and mind into balance. With one rose on the table, what you need to see becomes clear with the right resolution when you're in alignment with yourself. Don't forget that if neither option feels right, not offering up a rose is also a decision that's available. But I'm sorry, friends, that is not an option on this table, not offering up a rose. Okay, so blind faith. This has come up several times today, this whole concept of you knowing that you need to make a choice. And this came up in two readings I was listening to this morning. You knowing you need to make a choice towards something, and this total solar eclipse is going to bring up, okay, first of all, the total solar eclipse is going to bring up the choice points, energetics that are needed. So we said, I don't know what show it was now, that we couldn't do, well, we could, but we were asked not to do any readings for the next, any time after the eclipse until the eclipse came. So any of our typical, 3 months from now or 6 months from now, the guides wanted us to wait because all these new energy streams were going to become available once the eclipse came through and was integrated, that would give you higher vibe timelines to work with. But all of those, this sounds like parent guidance, all of those, because we did a whole show on this, involve making a choice to choose, hopefully, the higher vibe timeline and not the lower vibe one. But I feel like some of you are still in this sense of this should I or shouldn't I make this choice? What do I do? And this little rat person, this little bear person, the Rose of San Juan Capistrano is coming in. This little rat person has a heart in their hands, has their heart in their hands. And blind faith, we're closing out so many chapters here. And we said that we're closing out the last total solar eclipse, I think over the USA, was the one in the summer of 2017, and then everything started happening, and pretty much everybody here listening went into a downturn because our soul group, many of us, not all of us in our soul group, said, this is the time during this time frame, 2017 to 2024, that we were going to do all this major soul work on ourselves, and we were going to. That's why we came. This was the big clearing, and we were going to clear out all this stuff, ancestral karma, past life stuff, and all the stuff we've talked about before. This is not new stuff. And we did it as of the winter solstice this past December. Spirit had told us, you've graduated, you're done. And then we went into this period of kind of integrating this new feeling of wow, I don't have to do so much deep soul work anymore. I just don't know what to do with myself now, and all these new options came along, new stuff I can do. And all that headspace that was there because of the soul work you were doing was now freed up. And you could I read new books, and it was listening to new, YouTube creators, and had a lot of more options opening up. But I remember in October of 2017, I channeled a story called Blind Faith. And it was supposed to be, it is a Samhain story. It's a story I try to read live every Samhain here on the show. Some years we haven't done it, but Spirit took me back to blind faith again. And the term blind faith came up several times today in some readings that I was watching. And it was all about a blind girl named Faith. And these are channeled stories. And this trusting, the gist of the story was her mom, I think it was her mom died, and she didn't know what she was going to do with herself. It was just her and her dad, and she felt so alone in the world. And they brought her like a guide dog, and her and the guide dog would go every day to the cemetery to see the mom's grave. And then someone in the cemetery comes up to her one day and says, I want to help you. I want to be your friend. And she's like, oh, okay, well, she didn't really know who it was. She was a little nervous at first, but there's so many just of blind faith in the story, but she had faith. She felt like this person was really, nice and everything, wasn't going to do any harm to her. So she decides to befriend the person. And then, the person, the lady comes to her, every day and helps her and does all these, teaches her all these lessons and is a companion to her when she feels lonely and on and on and on and on until we get to the end where the person that came to her finally says, this is my name. And then Faith is at the mom's gravesite, and the friend takes her to the gravesite and says, read this headstone. And the headstone is her mom's headstone, and it's her mom's spirit that has been with her this whole time. Has been with her this whole time, and is like, I will always be with you. I'll always take care of you. I'll always watch out for you. You just have to have blind faith, and she is blind faith. It was a cute story. So right now, these new choice points with this total solar eclipse are going to open up for us. We have no idea where they're going. But it said miraculous new beginnings. We have a show that we have yet to do because we need the energies of the eclipse to come in first about miraculous healing hands. For those of you in Patreon, in the inner sanctum, it sounds like whoever's in there at the time of that show is being gifted with the ability to invoke miraculous healings for people and animals and parts of the planet, they're saying. So this is an integrity upgrade. And if you feel like that's you, if your guides are saying, yep, that's you, then you need to get into the inner sanctum within the next couple of weeks, because that's when I'll be delivering that show, or, you can get in whenever you want, but I'll be delivering that show then if you feel like that is meant for you. So we're not talking about, we're talking about miraculous healings. And we're not just talking about you going out and creating a website and saying, I do miraculous healings. We're talking about Spirit is going to bring you. You're not going out looking for anybody. Spirit is going to be bringing you, could be people. So there could be someone that's blind. That's very interesting. They're giving me chills. Oh, they're giving me chills. There are protocols for these healings. This is not willy-nilly. This is not, pie in the sky. This is not, you think you're God or whatever. This is Spirit gifting those of us that want to be able to do these things. And some of us that maybe don't know that they're able to do these things, but are soon going to be able to do these things with these abilities. They will be bringing us these people, situations, animals, whatever that need these healings. And so we're not talking about, I'm going to send you some Reiki. We're talking about someone's blind, comes to you, and maybe there was some sort of... what the heck is an act of contrition? I don't even know what that is. Hold on, got to stop for a second and look that up. I don't want to talk about stuff that I don't know what it means. So, act of contrition. An act of contrition. Oh my God, I am heartily sorry for having offended thee, and I show my sins because of just... What are the words? Chose to be called the friends of saving your death or saving you from your sins. Okay, so these are people that have paid for their sins. I don't want to call it sins, but they've had maybe negative karma in the past, and they've done some things to turn that karma around. And so they're going to be blessed with these miraculous healings. So it could be somebody that's blind, could be somebody that's deaf, that kind of stuff. And they will be sent to you, whoever this is for, and you will have the protocols necessary, the healing protocols necessary to restore their sight, restore their hearing. This is not like every day somebody's going to be at your door. I mean, this is going to be like as the need arises, as Spirit deems necessary, you will be brought these situations. But the thing is, you will have the integrity upgrades through your soul to be able to do these miraculous healings. So any of you, so many chills, any of you that have worked with Yeshua before, Mother Mary, in that timeline, anybody that's worked with the Essenes, there's some very specific mentors and guides you may have had in past lives. Man, the snow is really coming down, that are going to help you with this. So that's one thing. Back to this, so decision point. So, I think that's even a decision point. Do I want these miraculous healing abilities? Because I was reading a book, I was finishing up a book yesterday, and it was about a girl who inherits like $250 million from her grandmother who passed away. And her and her friends had to go through this whole treasure hunt to find it. And they made a deal that if the friends helped her, she would split whatever money they got or whatever she inherited or whatever they found. They had to follow these clues that the grandmother left them before she died. Whatever money, they would split it in certain percentages. And so all the friends agreed, and they were like, teenagers and like seniors in high school or whatever. Yeah, they were turning 18, I think was the thing. And at the end, she ends up finding all the clues, solving the mystery, and finding the money. And it was like $250 million, they said. And so she was gifting each of the friends, like, well, you're going to get 25 million, and you're going to get 25 million, and something, you're going to get so much. And she said, but you have a place in my company and all these, like, she was giving them like everything, you have a place in this company, which was like inherited from the grandmother and had been in ancestral family for many, many generations, and had built up this, obviously it's $250 million, it's a big company. A huge manor house that she inherited that she just got to live in, that was fully furnished with, the house manager and the groundskeepers and all that. And heck, right, like a wish come true. I wish I had a grandmother that would give me all that. I don't have any living, I don't have any really living relatives that I'm aware of. Let's just say that. I think there's like people 2, 3, 4, 5 times removed, whatever those people are. They're out there. But anyway. And so she tells each of the friends, like, well, this is yours, but you don't have to take it if you don't want to. You can still have the money, but you don't have to like be beholden to me because of the money. And the people, a couple people were like, yeah, we're all in, we're with you. One of them was like her fiance or her boyfriend or whatever. I'm like, yeah, I'm in, and this, that, and the other. And then a couple of the friends were like, I don't know if I'm in for this. I'm not sure, because I wanted some other things for my life. I wanted to like travel to Milan or whatever the thing was. And the other person wanted to do something else. And they're like, we'll think about it and we'll let you know. So it's kind of like that with anything we're talking about with these miraculous healing abilities. If some little bear person, I want to call this little mouse like a bear person. If some little bear person, or if you feel like you're a little mouse, like I feel like I'm so mousy, like I could barely speak up how I feel about this person. If you feel like you are having to, now I'm getting hot. Woo-hoo. Now, hold on. I got to turn up this vest. If you're feeling like, I'm supposed to approach someone, that's the decision I was supposed to make, but I just can't seem to work up the nerve to do it, or put my heart in my hands and say these things. What if this person doesn't accept me as I am? Or what if this person doesn't reciprocate my feelings? See, they're having me jump around a lot, so you have to pull out what's meant for you, because there's a lot of downloads here in this transmission. What if this person doesn't accept my feelings? What if they don't like me or whatever? But the same thing goes for the person. Like if you never approach the person, the timeline that we've been talked about before never gets created, right? You still stay in your boring old timeline. That person still stays in a timeline that, believe me, they really want to get out of. And well, at that point then, maybe, yes. These new potentials are not going to keep waiting for you. All right, here's the thing. If, and someone said it in a reading this morning, they're like, you've been nudged. And this eclipse energy is going to be like a brick to the head, like you better get moving. Because I think there is a choice point here if decisions aren't made, because, right, you've got free will choice to do something or not do something. Even if your guides are like, do this, and you're like, I'm this little bear person with my heart in my hands, and I just don't know. What about the past? What about that person that I poured my, I gave my everything to, and they shunned me. They shunned me, or, maybe this is a family member. What about that? What about the song they had me, where's this song? It was Bye Bye Love by the Cars. I can't feel this way much longer, expecting to survive with all these hidden innuendos just waiting to arrive. It's such a wavy midnight and you slip into insane. Electric angel rock and roller, I hear what you're playing. It's an orangey sky. Always it's some other guy. It's just a broken lullaby. Bye bye love. And then, this is such a relationship one. Substitution, mass confusion, clouds inside your head. This is you, bear person. Involving all my energies until you visited with your eyes of porcelain and of blue. They shock me into sense. You think you're so illustrious. You call yourself intense. So anybody that's out there looking for a new relationship partner, some of you are going to be the ones making the move, and typically in these type of divine counterpart relationship situations, it is the humanoid male figure. Let's just say that it's the male figure that is expected to come towards the female. Roles may have been reversed in the past. You may be this really, rockin' jock or whatever. And the women always, I shouldn't say only women, the women and or men, depending on, who you're hanging out with, which way you go. The women or the men may have always been the one coming to you, right? Because you were like really fine, and you don't have to do anything to like attract the other partner. But now roles have been reversed. Now you did all this healing work, and that's not happening anymore. In these new high vibe relationships, you're expected to be in your knight energy. You're expected to be in your king and emperor energy. You're not a page anymore. This message came up once before. You're not a page anymore. Page meaning, lower in the court of the royalty court or whatever. You've gone on the quests. You've found your own truth. You've pulled your own Excalibur out of the stone. You're the one. So many chills. You're the one expected to step forward. No, the other person is not coming towards you. Okay, whether it's a guy or girl, whoever they are. And chances are, in a lot of these situations, in the types of relationships dynamics that I deal with here on the show, and the types of community members we have, these are new people coming in. They may have not even met you yet, right? Because it's your job to open up the timeline. It's your job to part the mists of Avalon. It's your job to make the move, not the other person. The other person is sitting and waiting on their little queenly, kingly, whoever they are, throne. They maybe just be quite impatient. They're the ones that are, have been quite impatient. Like, when is this going to happen? Is this ever going to happen? Both of you have to have blind faith. Is this going to work out? Where is this going? The other person, so in your song lyric there, it sounds like, you had all the, accolades and people at your feet and all that. And, but it was short-lived. Always it's some other guy. Bye bye, love, And then someone else came along. The second verse of the song sounds like someone else stepped in who was more high vibe, who is, who's willing to wait, who's stable and secure and has strong foundations. And that's the person you're supposed to be moving towards. Hello, here I am. So, gee, many crickets, so many messages over and over again. So what's going to happen here, I think, is there comes a time when you'll get these ultimate, final nudge, I guess. And I believe at that point, if you don't take action, what happens? Okay, because we've been on this channel, Spirit, Mass, and the Guides, for quite some time, telling the listeners of this show that they need to take action on something. And it could have been anything, but a lot of it is moving towards other people and starting new relationships. It just seems to be heavy in the cards here. And we haven't even flipped over the other 2 cards yet. Don't ask me how long this show is. I have no idea. I'm just going for this. But, and please keep me on track with my guides. Like, don't let me just ramble. Okay, so they're saying, all is well, keep going. You're doing your job. Jeez Louise. We've been telling these messages for quite some time about taking action. And maybe the other person hasn't been able to take action because of these energetics of this eclipse needing to be here. Because I do recall going back and telling people, well, if you haven't been able to act until now, maybe the energy just wasn't in the right, you weren't just in the right place at the right time, right? Maybe everything up until this point was a dress rehearsal. Maybe there was, you know, you had to get it straight in your head. You had to visualize 1,000 times, you know, what's it going to be like to make this first move in this thing? What's it going to be like? You know, and if it's not a relationship, people listening, you know, slot in whatever it is. Is it a job, a friend, a family member? Is it, it doesn't have to be a romantic partner. Is it, you know, any kind of wish you want? But it does weigh heavily, I feel like, that many of the rewards for those of us that have been on this journey this past 7 years have been those, you know, us wishing for higher vibe relationships, or wishing for any relationships at all. Not any relationships, they have to be higher vibe. But if you were on a shaman's journey, or whatever you want to call it, the knight's quest or whatever, then the majority of the people in your life back then when you started are all completely gone now. And through the majority of your journey, you just had a tight inner circle, like a very tight inner circle. It may have been like you, your guides, some healers that you were guided to. You may have had a friend or two pop out in and out here and there, but like for me personally, like I had like no friend circle. All my friends were like stripped away. I had me and my son and my guides and the healers that they directed me to. Pretty much was the norm for the past 6 years or so. So it doesn't take rocket science to tell that it's like, I don't want to live my life like that for the rest of my life. We've already talked about that, right? It's like, I don't know how many more years, you know, I'm past the 50-year-old mark. All right. Moving quickly on up to the next one. And it's like, okay, another freaking birthday's coming up. And here I am sitting here. So I think what I want to get clear guidance, like, so they're saying fate and divine intervention is at play here. Because I keep saying, like, well, what if, maybe I shouldn't be doing the what ifs. Maybe we shouldn't be what ifing. Maybe that's the blind faith too. Like, we should have the blind faith that if Spirit tells us that something is part of our destiny, then it's going to happen regardless of the what ifs. So what if, you know, Joe Blow, or what was it from our book, Orion Ben, the raven that came in Molly McBottom's, and is he ever going to approach poor Molly McBottom's? Who the heck knows? I haven't written the next chapter yet. But like, okay, let's use Orion. So Orion Ben, you know, what if Orion Ben's, it shouldn't be so flippant. What if he just screws it up and decides, like, you know, I'm going to approach Molly McBottom's. Oh, heck no, I'm not going to approach her. I'm going to approach Molly McBottom's. My guides are really telling me I really need to. This is the moment. Do it. Do it now. And then I say, like, oh, no, I'm too scared. I'm not going to do it now. What if? Here we go. What if she doesn't respond? What if she thinks I'm a crazy person? What if, you know, she doesn't want a raven she's a garden fae. Who's to say she wants a raven familiar for a partner? They're saying it's going to happen anyway, but you just prolonging the inevitable. The inevitable is that you're destined to be with this person. Why do you think, like in the song, the person has been like saturating your reality with their soul goodness, you know? Why do you think all you can do is wake up and think about this person, go to sleep and dream about this person, and then, you know, you're hanging out and all the signs and synchronicities keep showing up about you and this person, and the 222s and the 44, whatever your number alignment is, you're destined to be with this person. So you just prolong the inevitable. You prolong your own doldrums, kind of, pretty much, by waiting, because you're keeping yourself in a lower vibrational timeline, because now the energetics have arrived to put you in the right place at the right time. The high vibiness timeline potentials are there, but you are going to put yourself like, just wait. Oh my God, please. And then the other person is all in agony too, like, oh my God, I know this thing is supposed to happen. My guides keep telling me to have blind faith. Like if you're on the receiving end, I know this person's supposed to come towards me, and they're just not, and they're just not, and they're just not, and they're just not. And I've had faith and blind faith up to here, and I'm just getting so tired of it. Should I move on? And then your guides are saying, you can, but you won't. And so you then, it's like you're stuck in this freaking endless loop. So at some point, I think you're going to be pushed way beyond your comfort zone. I don't know exactly when. They're not giving us any timelines. You know, do you wake up, or does the eclipse happen Monday afternoon and you wake up Tuesday morning and then bam, that's it. You're moving into this new timeline potential, or do you got to wait longer? Do you got to wait till after Mercury retrograde? You know, I always tell the guys, like, is there more freaking portals and shit do I have to wait for? Right? Do I have to wait for now a Mercury retro? Now do I have to wait for like a new moon? Or do I have to wait through this full Wesak moon? It's like, when? You know, when are these portals? Do I have to wait now to my birthday? Holy shit, another birthday. You know, I'm like, this is it. I'm at the end of my ropes. So, you know, going through life with a smile. But at the same time, I don't know what's the hardest journey? The journey where you are blind to your faith and you have no idea stuff's going to happen. It just happens anyway. But you're part of the world that's asleep to what's going on. You know, you're not an awakened soul. You haven't done any soul work. Is that the bigger demon, or is it the one where you're fully awake, all your spiritual senses are turned on, you can see energy, you feel energy, you're talking to your guides, you know something's supposed to happen, your guides keep communicating with you endlessly that something's going to happen, something's fated to happen, you're sitting there waiting and you have no idea when or what or if, or well, you kind of know if, because I think you're to the point where you've just surrendered all that, but it's the journey where you know. And so for years and years and years, you've known that something's going to happen and it just isn't happening yet. And you just like go through your life like, oh, Kiki, every day you give me these messages that something's going to happen and nothing happens. Which journey is the lesser of the two evils? I don't know. I guess I'd rather have the one where I'd rather have this one. Where I'm tuned in, tapped in, turned on, whatever Abraham Hicks says, Esther says. Then the one where I'm totally asleep to who I really am, and I have all this healing work to do, and you know the world is just this drudgery, and I'm still working for the man. No, I think now that I've experienced both worlds, I'll take this one. But still, it's kind of like, oh my God, it's kind of like someone telling you, like, I've got this really, really big present that I have for you. And, but I don't know when I'm going to give it to you. It's really great. It's the same thing, right? It's like someone contacting you, I've got something for you. You know, when you get some, like somebody may say like, I've got something for you. I've got a gift for you. I'm going to bring it by. And then they never freaking show up. And you're always wondering like, what would that gift have been? All right, let's move on to the second card. That's enough rambling about that. Okay. The Nagas. Ooh, better be quiet there. That's a card in the Starseed deck. It's like they're like erotic beings. The Nagas. Queen of Roses. Okay, so this card is the Queen of Roses. I think this is the Queen of Cups. There's a crown, and then there's the little banner that says Miss USA, second place, the Beauty Queen. Let's read this. The Queen of Roses. Self-confidence, here it is. It's the same messages. Self-motivation, extrovert, and independent. Adorned with a crown of jewels and sashes that tell of her beauty, this queen's confidence is truly immeasurable. She's gorgeous, social, and the life of the party. I'm thinking that's you. Her beauty is her superpower. This is just what we talked about, and she's fully aware of it. She's not here to make friends. She's not here to make enemies. She has become self-actualized through her defeats and challenges, and she knows how to play the game. Her intentions are set on the prize, and as a highly motivated and driven force, she's sure to get what she wants. I think that's a confirmation of everything I just said without even turning the card over. It's kind of like you may be the one who's used to getting what you want. Your confidence is immeasurable. You're gorgeous and social and the life of the party. You're extroverted. Your beauty, be you male or female, is your superpower. You're fully aware of it. You're not here to make friends. You're not here to make enemies, though, but you have become self-actualized through all the healing work you've done. You know how to play this game. You know how to play this manifestation game, and you're just letting old demons slip in. And your intentions are set on the prize. And if you're highly motivated and driven force, you're sure to get what you want. So you need to step back into your power. When these what if comes up about anything, any situation moving forward. I remember, here we go again, back when I was at Capital Group. I remember in the corporate world, I did a whole show on this called Life as a Mobius Strip. And I believe it's only on my podcast, not on YouTube. But I was talking about my life as this series of events that I really honestly felt like I had no control over the events that happened. Once they happened, I knew, like Spirit, I had the tools and the resources I needed to get the job done. But like through my whole working career, I never sought out any of the job responsibilities that were offered to me by really by God. I'm not saying they were offered to me, but the people at the company, they were offered to me by my guides and by God as, rewards for a job well done. And I never went to college. I did not want to go to college because I was too burned out by so much like AP stuff in high school. I was like, I can't even see another college camp. I don't even see another classroom. And all of my jobs and promotions and everything I got just serendipitously fell in my lap. I didn't even seek them. I was not the person that had to go in and like beg for a promotion or beg for a job change or even like apply for a job. I mean, they just came to me. Things that I was like, when they came to me, just like the snow earlier, I never would have expected that. Somebody saying like, oh, we've got this position for you. It's like or kind of the like, you've been recommended for this position. It was like, who recommended me for that? And it all ended up being like this ultimate dream job. And it was like, well, if I had to apply for that position from outside the company, I would have had to have like, a college degree and all these years of experience. I had no experience. I walked in the door with, 4.5 years of banking experience. And it was just like, everything just fell in my lap, like blump, 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 blump. That's how on these magical rides, I call this lifetime a magic, on this magical ride, is come and do all this healing work too. It wasn't all a magical ride. Well, it all has been, but for different intents and purposes. But, you may be the exact same way. You may be the type of person who it's kind of like the golden life, the life of, what's the word I want to say? The entitled life. Okay. I say that sometimes, I don't want to talk about him, but I say that sometimes about people that have like come into this life with really big good karma banks. They tend to have this entitled life where you really don't have to do a heck of a whole lot to have things just to fall in your lap. Because you're already entitled to them. Your karma follows your soul throughout your soul's journey. And if you did a whole bunch of, good servicey stuff in past lifetimes, all that karma just keeps following you, right? And you step into this lifetime, and there's some people that are a little bit up on a, royal pedestal, like, I don't have to do anything because everything just comes to me. And it was kind of like that, although the family I was born into was not a rich family. It was like my, parents divorced when I was 7. And it was just me and my mom and my sister. And it was kind of a hard lifestyle. My mom just had to work for a living and did a job she really didn't like because she didn't have the confidence to do anything better. She could have done something better. She just didn't have the confidence because we're manifestors. Everything in our life is not, it's the choices we make. So she made a choice to just stay in a job that she didn't like. And it took its toll on her health and her, we're doing this for our ancestors too. Like people who did not, the energetics maybe weren't there, or maybe it was just not in their soul blueprint for them to awaken at that time. And I think a lot of them tried really, really hard. I remember my mom was very intuitive. We come from a long line of ancestral witches. My mom was very, very intuitive, very tapped into energy. She was more of like a devout Catholic than somebody who was like, she never said like I'm a witch or anything like that, but she would tell me about her visions and all of this. And I think people pretty much like told her, eventually that she was like crazy for having all these things. And so they just kind of shut those things down. And so, but she was very devout. She prayed, every day, did the rosary 2 and 3 times a day. We went to church and did all the churchy things. And, but she never, she never felt she was good. It was like all this unhealed stuff, to where later on in her life, she'd gotten to a point where she was looking really good. She had healed a lot of her health issues. And this, Spirit gifted her with this other soul who wanted to build with her. It was a very wealthy real estate broker, wanted to basically take my mom on this, just take her out of all of this, just living off of her Social Security and her pension from her little Southwestern Bell telephone operator job. And he wanted to sweep her away and sweep her off her feet. And I remember her telling me he wants to sell my house and he's got this big old house where I can live wherever I want. And I never have to, work again, because she was like, I think I'm going to have to find a part-time job. She was almost in her 70s. And she was like, I think I'm going to have to find a part-time job to supplement my income. But this guy comes along. He's handsome. I remember he's very handsome. He was very well known in the community. He was a socialite, if that's what you want to call it. He was a very well-known real estate broker. He was very dapper. He was very debonair. I remember seeing pictures of him. I don't know if I ever really met him. And I remember, and then I think they went out and they dated or whatever. And then he asked her to marry him. And she told me, I'm turning him down because I think this is too good to be true. This is all her past stuff. This is too good to be true. And I don't trust that this is going to last. And if I give up all my life to go off and be with this person, what happens when it all falls apart? And so she turned this person away. It was very sad to watch it happen, because I think she really cared about this person too, but she turned this person away. It was very sad. I think this person was devastated. And then her health started failing. She did get a part-time job, and she ended up meeting some secondary option that Spirit sent in that I was very unhappy with this option. I was like, this is but that's all she felt like she was good enough for. I remember this person, I was like, you're kidding me. This is the person. First of all, Spirit, I was like, what in the heck are you thinking? But it was very interesting. This person was 20 years younger than her. And, obviously fell in love with her because she was supposed to have some sort of partner to the end of her life, because it wasn't going to be me. I was like, I am not taking care of no sickly aging parent. I'm sorry. I must have said that somewhere in the making of my soul blueprint. I am not doing that job. And so I had stuff of my own life going on. I wasn't doing that. And so this man came in, and oh my God, it was just like, what? And she went off and married this guy, and it started out fine. But then I remember she kind of gave over. She was totally hadn't healed any past wounds, so she totally gave herself up to this person, sacrificed all of her own needs and everything for them, and ended up all of her health issues all came back, and she ended up passing away. It was a very horrible ending for her. Physically, it was just absolutely. I would never want anybody that I ever loved again to have to go through the type of ending that her life went through. It was just. To me, it was horrific. And that was it. So she never accomplished these goals. She could have gone, I keep saying she could have gone with the guy. And so apparently, who knows? Was that her guides pushing her to, take the other? We don't really know. I haven't really delved into that. But I do know periodically she pings me from the other side, don't make that mistake I made with Dick. His name was Dick Gilby was the guy that she should have gone with. Don't make that mistake I made with Dick Gilby. She'll tell me, you don't settle for anything less than what you really deserve. She'll ping me periodically and say, remember what happened with Dick Gilby? And I'm like, yes, remember what happened when he left and you got rid of him, and in came that other person that I was like, what in the world? This is so beneath you. So don't settle for less than what you're truly worth. I think you're the beauty queen or king in this scenario. And in anything, be it a relationship, a job, anything in your life, I think you've done so much healing work now. You know what your self-worth is, who you are, what you're all about. And it's time to take the Oh, it's like one of my favorite Netflix shows because it's a Christmas show, Dash and Lily. It was based on a book, but I think the movie's much better than the book. But it's like you finally are able to take that person, you put everybody, or you put this person on a pedestal in your head, and it's time to take that person off that pedestal and come down into reality. And it's like, I think you're building up something in your head. It's these fantasies you're having, or it's not necessarily a fantasy. I think they're actual visions of what could be, but you're also romanticizing it quite a bit, because 3D life is 3D life. And this person is not, omnipotent. They're not perfect. Anybody that I meet, I'm telling them like, hey, I'm fallible. I'm a human and I'm fallible. I'm bound to like maybe disappoint you at some point or say something you don't like, or, I'm not perfect, right? I mean, I've done a friggin' ton of healing work, and I know how to deal with my own crap, and I know how to deal with energy, and I know how to deal with relationships through the energetics of what they are. I'm here to build. I'm here to I'm here to achieve. I'm here to do all the things that my ancestors couldn't, wouldn't, or weren't able to do for whatever reason, be it of their own making or just because it wasn't part of their soul destiny to do that. But, sometimes we romanticize these people that we're dreaming about, and we put them on these big pedestals. And I think that's part of the reason why you create these blocks for yourself, that you're not able to move forward, is because I think you feel like they're beyond your reach. And it's like, no, they're just human beings, just like you are. They still I told my son yesterday, because he's like, I'm bored with my life and I'm tired of living here. And I'm like, I know, me too, but we have to wait a little bit longer. And I said, well, it's the old saying. It was the Buddha or somebody that said it, like, before enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. After enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. I told him 99% of your life is just doing the day-to-day stuff. You still got to go to the bathroom. You still got to eat your food. You still got to do your laundry. You still got to do your day, take your dog out for a walk. You still got to do all these things, and every now and then there's this moment on your soul plan where this miraculous thing happens and your life just all changes. For the better or for the worse. But I told him this time it's going to be for the better. I promise you, because he was a big part of that whole soul journey with me when everything got all crazy. And so he knows what it's like to go through that. But yeah, I told him, you're just, you may look at me and be like, oh, she can talk to guides and she can do all this stuff. But I'm like, yeah, I do throughout my day. I told him I'm always talking to myself, talking to these guys constantly. I said, I just use the old woman caveat. Like, if I'm walking through the store and I'm talking to myself, I'd be like, I'm an older lady. I can do whatever I want, say whoever I want, be whatever I want. And I said, just use some other caveat if somebody thinks you're crazy. If you're talking, because he's like, I talk to myself all the time. And I'm like, so what's wrong with that? I talk to my guides all the time and especially since I've been alone for such a long period of time. I mean, that's really all I've had to remotely talk to, and when I talk to you guys. So, it's fun to romanticize this relationship, but in reality, it is going to be magical. I can tell you that. The guides are telling you it's going to be totally magical and amazing. But you're also like real 3D people with real 3D stuff you have to deal with. And that's the other side of it as well. So it's not completely putting this person up on this pedestal to where you feel like they're unattainable for you. They're just like you. And if it's some sort of twin flame relationship, then you're pretty much at this point, Spirit said you've been ready for this for quite some time. You're pretty much like mirroring each other in every way now. The things you think are the things they're, thinking about. They're thinking about you. You're thinking about them. They're going through a rough day. You're probably going through a rough day. Like, you're mirroring each other so completely now. You probably don't even need to draw a card and be like, what is this person thinking about me? Because if you're thinking about them a certain way, they're probably thinking about you a certain way. The last card is card number 14. Keep it chill. It's like a glass of lemonade with a bunch of ice cubes and a pair of heart sunglasses with a little sparkle. Card number 14 in this deck is Balance. Is that the Justice card? I don't remember. Let me see. Let me go to this other book real quick. Temperance. Oh, the goddess Mary Magdalene and the astrological correspondence of Sagittarius. We're here to find, I'm not reading from, so it is the Temperance card. It says, keep it chill. I'm going to read from a different book. It's the Goddess of Love Tarot for the Temperance card. We're here to find balance between heart and mind, spirit and flesh, sex and love. This isn't about disconnecting from reality, but rather, here it is, which is what I just talked about, integrating dualities through unconditional love. Temperance offers that balance of one foot on the terrestrial and one in the celestial. I told you it's going to be magic, but you're still 3D human beings. A balance of force and form as embodied by Mary Magdalene. Mary was Jesus' most beloved disciple and embodies the energy of temperance in her commitment to love, sacred sexuality, and her beloved. She represents gnosis, the realization of divinity through the self, heart, and communion with the divine. Surrender to the tides of life by aligning with the mysteries of the universe. Temperance invites in balance and grounding. Find a middle ground between two opposing energies, forces, choices, or beliefs with this alchemical key that transmutes any blocks, forces, and patterns into wisdom, faith, and guidance. Make the mundane world part of your spiritual practice. The affirmation is, I embrace my divine dualities and am grounded in the love that results from this sacred alchemy. When two opposing forces come together through the flesh in search of something greater. It goes into some sex magic stuff there that I won't read for this, but okay. So you're just being asked to remain grounded while being able to go with the flow. Remember, you're here for the right reasons. Choose your battles wisely. Listen to your heart. Keep it chill as the cucumber that garnishes your refreshing ice-cold cocktail. And I think if you just surrender to the moment, let the what ifs just roll off your back. Let that little, devil on your shoulder who's like, maybe this isn't going to work out. Let that fall away and just fall into this divine acceptance of what's going to be showing up for you. Because you didn't come, you asked, if you're anything like me, you asked for this to be a magical journey. Whatever this is that's coming up next for you, whatever this magical destined path is. I was very clear in my manifestation of this, whatever, that this is. That I did want it to be magical. So that is going to be part of it. It's not just going to be some regular old 3D thing. I want all the things, which includes, the magic, the mystery, the mysticism, the tiny bit of spookiness I like to put into some of my stuff. The little shake of dark witchy stuff, all of that I want to be part of this new now. And I feel like don't sacrifice, anything you're wishing for. And whatever comes to you now, whatever magical destined road is going to open up for you as a result of this eclipse, it's all the things you've already asked for. And Spirit delivering them to you on a golden platter or a diamond platter. And you just have to receive those things and flow and allow and receive and do all the good stuff that you've been practicing for quite some time now, that you know how to do really, really well. Because I know you were a master manifester before any of this even happened. So go back to the basics. Okay. So that, in a nutshell, is all we have for you. So we're going to leave it here, my loves, my friends. And I hope you found some words of wisdom in any of these channeled messages, or all of them, or take what resonates and leave the rest. And we will see you again soon. I have no idea what's coming up this week in terms of shows, but I know for the next Bringers of the Light Sunday, we will be going back to the Rose of San Juan Capistrano yet again to see what's going to happen with Rosalie and Calvin. And until then, I bid you a fond farewell. Take care.
This episode has been brought to you by the Fairy Consortium of the Light, here to help you have fun in all ways possible. We are here to bring magic and joy to all of your outdoor activities. If you'll just invoke us, we can show you how fun life outdoors can actually be. Thank you for joining us.